Hello, welcome back to Bethel Evangelical Free Church Handling on YouTube. I'm Pastor Charmley, and we are continuing the series on Derbyshire churches. This is All Saints Church, Bradley. It's perhaps one of the most picture-perfect churches in Derbyshire. A beautiful, beautiful building to look at from the outside, and a lovely building on the inside. This is 14th century church architecture as it was applied to a small village church. We've seen in a previous video the church at Church Broughton, which is big, aisles, tower, etc. This is little. This is a small village church. This is another example of a church next door to a manorial complex, and we'll see that when we get outside. But as we're inside at the moment, we'll have a look around, see some more memorials, the organ and other things. So as usual, we start at the West End. The West End here feels a little bit hemmed in because on the one side, on the north side is the organ, and on the south side is the vestry. And so you have this kind of narrowing here. You've also got this internal porch. There's no external porch, and so how do you keep the heat in? You have a porch on the inside. The font is Victorian, not very interesting. It's imitating the 13th, 14th centuries. The organ is a label from J. Housley Adkins of Derby, single manual with a pedal board, and it looks like it has 8 stops. For those who are interested in stops, they use hymns ancient and modern. That's hymns A and M, or hymns altered and mangled, as somebody once put it. We have the 15th century roof line, so the roof line's been altered. There is a division between chancel and nave, but the chancel arch has been just eliminated. It doesn't exist anymore. We have a funerary hatchment here. As I said, there's a manorial complex next door, which remained in use. Well, there's still the hall there, but the manorial complex remained in general use until the 18th century. You have these nice windows. There's the north door. Welcome to Bradley Church. That's the rainbow, of course, a symbol of hope, not anything else. We have the War Memorial, 1914 to 1919. Three men killed, and all of them were just ordinary soldiers. And above again we have the arms of the local bigwigs. All the furnishings appear to be Victorian. Well, most of the furnishing would be Victorian. We've got these Victorian pews, Victorian pulpit. The War Memorial for the Second World War is simply one man, Flying Officer Robert Tomlinson, 4th of June 1943. He's RAF VR, that is Royal Air Force Volunteer Reserve. So he was a reservist who was called up and killed in action. Here we have Thomas Archer Esquire, Commander Royal Navy, 4th son of the late Thomas Archer Esquire of Mount John in the county of Wicklow, Ireland. He departed this life on the 24th of March 1853, aged 69 years. Entering the naval service of the country at an early period of life, he was actually employed during the greater part of the long war with France, and distinguished himself at the reduction of Gluckstadt and Curacao, for which he received a medal in acknowledgement of his meritorious services. So, Royal Navy in that, and his commander, that would be his rank at his death, and his promotion would have been stopped at that point, at the end of the war. So what did he do in the war? Was he just a lieutenant? Probably he was just a lieutenant, a junior officer. We have here Christ receiving little children looking very Anglo-Saxon, and Christ of the Good Shepherd. Here we have more of the memorials. Yes, there is Mary, who's the wife, the widow of Thomas Archer. And we Step up into the chancel. Got some nice altar rails, nice frontal there. Summer suns are glowing over land and sea. Memorials, there's a couple of corbels that would have related to the roof, or perhaps even the chancel arch. Whatever they related to, not there anymore. This tablet was erected in memory of Emma Harriet Scambella, one who scarcely needs a monument to perpetuate her memory among those who knew her, and no marble can convey an idea of what she was to those who knew her not. She died the 21st of November, 1821, aged 9 years. 9 years. So she is this spot of earth bedewed with tears enshrines a form that love endears. Oh yes, she was a pearl of worth, formed but for heaven, too pure for earth. The sweetest, fleetest flower we see, fair Emma, is a type of thee. To deck thy charms in fadeless bloom, heaven called thee, angel, to the tomb. And never, never slumbered there a mind more bright, a form more fair. Here, loved one, thou canst calmly sleep, while those who loved thee wake to weep. They too must sleep, they too will rise and join thee in thy native skies. It's a lovely memorial to a little girl, and you feel, whatever the theology of it, you feel the sorrow of her parents. And plain ashlar walls, it does look like these walls were meant to be left unplastered, because the stone is so perfect, so beautiful. And there we are looking west. We'll just back up a bit to the altar rails and we can look all the way west and the beauty of it all. Now this is the interior. As I say, it's the exterior that this church is most famed for, so we'll go outside and have a look at that before ending this video. Also, here we are outside, and you can see immediately why it is regarded as one of the most beautiful churches in all of Derbyshire. This little box, as it is, or two little boxes, no west tower, not even a west belfry. There's beautiful, this is the best time of day to see it, as the sun is sinking towards the horizon. We see the church bathed in its afternoon light. Originally, of course, the roof line would have been different. It would have had a much steeper pitched roof. You can see here the clerestory, and thankfully the Victorians didn't go mad on the building, making it look, oh, let's make it look more 14th century. No, let's let it look like this. So here we are, outside here at Bradley. Ignore the sounds of children playing in the road. It's a beautiful sound, but it's a beautiful building, and we shall explore it wonderfully down the outside. And we see the old manorial complex. So let's have a look. So here we are outside at All Saints Bradley, and you look at that. Could you have a more perfect example of a little 14th century village church? The clerestory essentially indicates what the original roofline would have been. The bell hangs outside and is rung by a little string, basically a rope attached on the inside on the west end. The stone is just so beautiful, it glows in the evening sun, and the windows, plain glass, fill the building with light. Now the manorial complex was over here on the north side of the church, and as you can see, there's not a lot here anymore. There's a platform here, and I can see some ditches, and what's that? Well, that was originally a stable block, but that is now Bradley Hall, because the old manor was pulled down in the 18th century by a man who wanted to build a brand new one. He was a keen horse racer breeder, and so he built his stables. And then he married a rich heiress and went off to live in the house that he inherited, and the stables became the hall. So There's a manor, and this is the new manor, the stables, very, very grand stables, and the church. The perfection of form, in some respects. It's the same kind of style as you would have found, we found at Church Broughton, but it is so much simpler. Just a boxed nave and a boxed chancel, and it's you can see there's the old north doorway, and you've got your heating down there, and these bits and pieces. So there were some other bits and pieces. That looks like that was a window that would have lit the pulpit. You've got these little faces, little heads. They're clearly medieval heads as well, which is always nice. Not Victorian ones. He's a bit stern. And so we move around the outside of the church, watching out for hikers, dog walkers, etc. So round the east end, nice set of memorials, and around again, there's the little mere over there, and back round to the door. No porch. There was at one point, you can see on the outside of the church, you can see the shadow of the porch, the old roof, part of the old roof line. No porch there anymore. So there we have it. Bradley, the All Saints Bradley, the perfect 14th century little tiny village church. And there's some building platforms here. It's just the village was here and it's moved. It's shifted, as they wont to do over time. Originally in the midst of the village then, with the manor house to the north. Now it stands beside the hall. A grand little building that is, as I say, perhaps the most beautiful in all of Derbyshire, at least of this size. Well, let's have to say a few words in closing, and then the end of this video. And so there we have it, All Saints Bradley, a contender certainly for the most beautiful rural church in all of Derbyshire, in my opinion. And as we know, opinions are subjective, but certainly it's a contender just in its setting, in its appearance, for the most beautiful church in Derbyshire. I should speak up, I'm away from the microphone. But well, thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoy these videos. You've noticed I love this church. It's so beautiful, so wonderful. Well, thank you for watching, and may God bless you and keep you, and hopefully see you in the next one.